in July that locks in your first month of Success Club on your way to Diamond Day at Summit. You also need to be a paid diamond this Thursday, meaning you are a paid diamond, or you are a diamond Wednesday night, waking up paid diamond on Thursday. If you have questions about that, you're shooting for that, you need help with that, make sure to reach out to your diamond upline and let us know. Without further ado, here she is, the long Pocahontas speaking, Raquel McAfee.
Hello, hello. Happy Sunday. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I went ahead and made a presentation because that's who I am. Like, I need slides. I feel good about slides. Helps keep me on track. But today I'm going to be talking to us about one of my most favorite topics of all. And if you are a coach that is directly under me, you know I preach mindset all the time, probably till I'm blue in the face and you're probably tired of talking about it. So just a little caveat, I'm not going to go into business action strategy steps in this call. So if that's what you're looking for, no worries. We have a whole team VIP training, YouTube links, all on the strategy. You can check out the unit guides in our team VIP page. You can listen to the National Wake Up Call. You can get all of that. Anything you ever want to know about how to grow this business is online, is in all of our files that we have for you. Today, I'm focusing on mindset, the mindset for success in this business, because it truly begins and ends in our mind. And it's one of those things that I truly believe can make or break you in this business. So I'm going to get into it. Before we get started, I just want to have just a real open conversation. If you've spent any time with me, you know that I can take it very woo-woo. I can be talking about God and Jesus in one instance and talking about spirituality and then mindset and the brain, and I just love it all. So you're going to hear a little bit of that. If it resonates with you, cool. Some people resonate with God and Jesus. Some people resonate with the universe. Some people are like, this is really out there. But ultimately, I just want you to say, I am open to new ideas. I'm willing to do my part in this business, and I'm committed to my success. So just tell yourself that right now. I'm open to new ideas. If you're taking time on Sunday night to sit here and learn, something in you wants this to work. So let's be open to ideas, new strategies, and be willing to say, you know what? I'm willing to do what it takes to be successful in this business, okay? So I want you to go in with an open mind, and I'll open up for questions at the end. So before we start, I just like to do a mindset self-check with yourself. Are you clear on what you want from this business? And are you very clear on what success looks like to you? Okay, that seems like, of course, I know what I want. You know, we all have idea of what we want in our business, but are you really clear? And I say this because Jessica and I had this conversation with ourselves this week on what does success really look like to you? Because if you're not clear, you can go around running around with your head cut off and feel like, oh, I'm not where I need to be, like, oh, I'm failing or I'm not succeeding. And it's like, okay, but what does success look like? A lot of times I talk to coaches and they're like, I'm just not where I want to be. And I'm like, okay, well, what does it look like to you? How will you know you've arrived? And I will tell you that the bar will continue to raise. And so you have to be very clear of what is it? Is it for you? Does success look like to you really hitting your health, fitness, weight loss goals and feeling good in your skin? Is that equate success? Is success being, I made enough to get my products paid for and I'm also inspiring a couple people along the way? Does success mean earning enough to cover your groceries? Does success mean earning enough to go part-time in your current job? Does it mean walking away? And like I said, there's different levels of success. Only you know what it looks like to you, and you have to decide what it is, but you have to get very clear, and we're going to talk about that. But until you know what it is, I'm telling you, that's the quickest way to make yourself feel unsuccessful if you haven't defined it for yourself. So get clear on what it looks like, and be so clear that if you're having a conversation with your upline coach and you end it with like, okay, now tell me again, what are you do? What's your goal for this business and what does success look like to you? You should be able to spout it out. That's how clear it is. And it seems so silly, but Jessica and I really had to sit back and forth and really be like, okay, well, what is it though? But like really get clear on what that looks like to you. And then I do another mindset check is, are you focusing on what you do want? Or are you focusing on the fear of, oh, well, what if I don't get it? Or what if it's not possible? Or worry of like, oh, what are other people gonna think? We show up on social media every day, and I'm gonna be the first to tell you, I know it's not easy. I've been showing up on social media in some way, shape, or form for the past 6.5 years, and I'm still like, ooh, and I post and it's nerve-wracking because there's a little bit of feel of like, ooh, what are people going to think? Right? Are you focusing on the sadness and frustration that it's not happening fast enough, right? We all wish we were at a different level and we wished it had happened like yesterday. Are you focusing on what you do want? Are you focusing on the things that you don't want? Because I think it's so easy, and we're just, as it's human nature, that it's easy to focus on what we don't want. But that's really what this call is going to be, is shifting our mindset to focusing on what we do want. So kind of just an overview of what you can expect. We're going to get very clear. You will know what you want. And I'm not saying we're going to work through everything today, but I want you to take some time either after this call or this week to get very clear with yourself. I'm going to take you through some questions on, so you know without a shadow of a doubt what it is, what you want in this business, and what success looks like. We're going to focus on not even allowing the opposite of what we want to even exist in our mind. Of course, those doubts and limiting fears are going to come up, but as soon as they do, we recognize it and we're like, is that what I want to focus on? Or is there a better feeling thought that I could focus on? And then lastly, I want to remind you that this business is a marathon. It really is. Sometimes we wish it were a sprint. Like I wish it was a 100-yard dash. And I wish the minute I signed up to, a month, 3 months, 6 months, even a year later, I could be at the finish line of where I want to be. But that's not the case. So if you go in knowing it's a marathon, you can adjust your expectations for it. And I want you to think like a winner. Winners never give up. The only way you fail in this business, I know it, is from quitting. So if you can just go in and say, hey, it's a marathon, I will do this until I figure it out and I am successful. I'm going to think like a winner and I will keep showing up until I get it right. That's how you win at this business. Okay, so just a quick little mindset check just to see, where are you, right? And we all have up and down. Sometimes our mindset's in a great place and sometimes it's not, but this is a good way to check in with yourself to see where you are. All right, so step one, we have to define success for yourself. So like I said, what do I really want from this business? Not what your upline wants for you, not what you see other people in the business that you feel like you should want. What do you really want? And here's what I want to say is to walk you deeper through this. If nothing were bad or wrong, what would I really want? Okay. For some of us, I know for me, I loved my job. I loved working with college students. I was in the health and fitness industry. I loved what I did. I was never sad to go to my job. Was it hard to do that full time with 3 small kids? Absolutely. But I loved what I did. But there was a little part in me that wanted at some point to have the option to step away. But I never admitted that until the very end when I walked away, because I felt bad. I felt like I was letting my coworkers down. I felt like I was letting my boss down. I felt like, well, shoot, I went to school. I got a master's degree. Part of me felt bad about even entertaining that thought. I know some of us are teachers in here, and I know you love your job, and that's awesome. And if you want to teach until you retire, that's awesome. But I also know there's some teachers in here that part of you is like, wouldn't it be cool if I did have the option to leave if I wanted to? And I just want you to say, nothing's bad or wrong. No one's going to judge you if you walk away from your career. And if you don't, maybe you love your career. I'm thinking about Shauna. She's a professor and she crushes it. She's awesome and she loves it. And so she wants to do that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong or bad about that. But if nothing were bad or wrong, what would you really and truly want? Get very honest with yourself. And if no matter what I wanted, it would happen, what would I want? Because I think sometimes too, we cut ourselves a little bit like, we don't really think what we really truly want is possible. So then we don't even allow ourselves to go there because it's not even a possibility. But what if you could come in and say, if it could happen for me, no matter, it's just inevitable, it will eventually happen. What would I want? Again, allow yourself to go deep, really go deep with this. This is why I'm taking you through levels deep. And then if I could fully trust myself to show up, to do my part, all the business activities that we know to be doing, that I'm not really going to go in, but if I could trust myself to do what I need to be doing, show up, being consistent, doing the daily activities, what would I want? Because I think a lot of times too, and I'll be the first to tell you, I've done this too, well, I haven't been so consistent with what I know I need to be doing. And I know that since I haven't done that, what I really want, is that even possible? But if you could trust yourself to be like, no, I will show up. What is it that you want? Now, again, this is something that's really easy to breeze over and give like what I call the pageant answer of like world peace. What do I really want? I want to positively impact others. And that is a beautiful thing. But let's go deeper. Really, what do you want? And once we get honest with ourselves, it's out there. And I know that's scary, right? When you have these big goals and dreams and you're like, I have no idea how that's even going to happen. And I'm even scared to say it because, like, what if I don't, right? But put it out there, own it. And then he takes us to our next step. What part of us doesn't believe we're worthy of it? Because that's truly where it comes down to, is a self-worthiness issue. And we all have it. I mean, I have said it, and Jessica said it too. I want to be $1 million earner. Obviously, there's something in me that doesn't quite feel worthy of it yet, or I'd have it, right? My self-worth hasn't aligned with it, or would already show up in my existence, but it hasn't yet. So that's step 2. After you get very clear, very brutally honest, you take it multiple levels deep and say, is there anything else? What do I really want for myself? What does success look like? Is there anything else? Is there anything else? Then we got to take a deeper look and look at these limiting beliefs. So step 2, look at your limiting beliefs. We all have them. So what comes up when you get honest with yourself, right? I just told you, I have big dreams of wanting to be a 15-star diamond, a 15-star diamond and $1 million earner. What comes up when I have that? There are feelings like, well, maybe I'm not a good enough leader. Maybe I don't have a big enough following. I'm not really willing to work 12 hours a day in order to achieve that. And if that's what it takes, then maybe it's not possible for me. I have limiting beliefs. We all have those limiting beliefs. What I want you to do is I want you to, after you've written out everything that you truly want, you've gone really deep, I also want you to write and say, why do I think that that's not possible for me? And write down everything that comes up. And sometimes it's silly, right? Sometimes it's silly. We all have our reasons for why we think success isn't possible for us. Just get them out on paper so that you can actually look at them. That's really kind of digging deep to like our subconscious. We all have like a baseline level of like, oh, I don't have time. I'm too busy. I work full time. I have small kids. This isn't the season of life where I can go after that. I don't really want that. All those things, just write them out. And then if you truly want to make a go for what you say you do, it is our job to look at anything that says it's not possible for us. It's our job to disprove it. So if after you make that list of ideas, say, is this ultimately true? Is it, right? So for instance, I just gave you the example of I don't have a big enough following, okay? So is that ultimately true? I can't be a 15-star diamond or $1 million earner because I don't have a big enough following? Is that true? And then here's the kicker. Look for expanders. So people who are similar to you that have done what you want to do. If they can, why not you? And I have some very specific examples in the Beachbody community that have a very small following, who, I don't know, post on Instagram and maybe get 12 likes, and she's a 15-star diamond. So is my thought, is my belief that, you know what, I don't have a big enough following, there's no way it could happen. Is that ultimately true? No, because there's actually a lot of people in the network that are $1 million earners or 15-star diamond and don't have a big following, right? But I'm just giving you that example because that's like that's been one of my limiting beliefs, right? But I really want you to go through that. Write down everything in your head, all the weird stuff. I always say better out than in, all the weird stuff. And I say write it because there's something special that happens when you write it out. You can think it in your head, but sometimes when I put pen to paper, there's stuff that comes out that I didn't even know was deep in my subconscious mind until I wrote it out and I was like, ooh, do I really think that? Guess so, write it out. And then that's the next step, is look for people who can expand your beliefs, people who are just so similar to you that have what you want. One of the examples that I have in this business when I first started was like, it would be really awesome if I could, really be able to pay off debt, pay off our student loans, pay off credit card debt, maybe go part-time in this business. I don't know. I'm afraid to say that. And I had to be like, but I have 3 small kids. I have 3 kids, 3 and under. My daughter's 3, my boys are 11 months. I have twins. I work. And I had to look, and God placed in my view another coach in their network. Her name is Dara Laporta, and she's literally my exact same shoes. She had 3 kids under 3. She had a daughter the same age as Charlotte, and she had twin boys the same age as mine. And she was crushing the business. And I remember thinking, okay, thank you, God, for showing me, for expanding what I believe is possible. I see her. I know what she's doing it. Why not me? And you know what? I still, to this day, she's still crushing this business, and she does it in such a beautiful way where she's able to be a really fun, present mom. Because that's another one of my living beliefs. Well, I'll have to work all the time and be a workaholic and be away from my kids. And you know what? If that's how it is, I don't want it. That's a limiting belief. But I see her and I see how she's such a beautiful, and she now has 4 kids, present mom with her kids, and she's crushing it in this business. So she's my expander of being like, hey, she's literally just like me and she can do it too. So that's what I want you to do. Look at all your limiting beliefs and then find someone who is similar to you. And I guarantee you can find them in Beachbody or in some way, shape, or form that is doing what you want. But our brains need to see it. It's just a weird thing. Sometimes our brains need proof. So show them that proof and let that be your expander. Okay? All right, moving right along. Step 3. So we have decided what we wanted. We have gotten very clear on all those weird limiting beliefs that are stuck in our subconscious mind. We found an expander for somebody who's proof to our brain that, hey, it is possible. And then step 3, now we get to step in our power and decide how it gets to work for us. So this means writing down declarations. I used to say affirmations, and I think affirmations, I still say affirmations, but for some reason, a declaration seems so much more powerful. Like, no, here's what I'm declaring. I'm affirming it. I'm declaring it. This is who I am and how the business gets to work for me. I don't know if you can see, but I have a whole list on my, I don't know if you can see, but this is where I work out. And when I work out, I have a whole whiteboard behind me of my declarations of who I am. And one of them is, I am a multi-6-figure $1 million earner. I am a leader of leaders. I am a superstar diamond coach. I'm declaring who I am and how this gets to work for me. And before I work out, I'm standing up here and I'm saying them out loud and I'm like embodying them. Okay, so once you've decided who you are or what you want, you take your limiting beliefs, you write down an affirmation, a declaration, whatever it gets to be in the present tense or past tense, like it's already happened. I like to use I am and then whatever I'm declaring, and start feeling it, embodying it, saying it. You really affirm it until it just becomes a core belief. And I was saying this on the way when I was driving my minivan to work, when I was working full time and I was a brand new coach, and I would tell myself, I'm an elite, successful Beachbody coach. I have freedom of time and financial freedom and all these things that hadn't shown up in my reality yet, but I was saying them, I was feeling them, and I was declaring how it got to go for me. And those things have now shown up, and now I've raised the bar of where I am and what I want to be. The next thing I want to talk about is shifting your energy. I talk about energy all the time and how it's so, so important. But what is energy? I know that's weird and it's a little bit woo-woo, so let me break down for you. Our energy and our vibration, they're kind of like the same thing. Everybody's vibrating, everything that's vibrating. If you were to put, I don't know, my phone under a microscope, you would see that it's vibrating. Everything has a vibration. That's just science, right? But the thoughts we think, the words we speak, the feelings we feel, the way we move in this world is all creating energy and a vibration. And so when we're vibrating at a certain frequency, when I say my declarations of who I am, I can't help but feel a little hype. I can't help but feel like, yes, like that is who I am. When we vibrate at a certain frequency, it's like attracts like, and we attract things at that same frequency. So do you ever notice when you're having a bad day and like, you wake up late, you spill your coffee, you stub your toe, and you're like, shit, my whole day, like it's one thing after another. Wow, I can't catch a break. And you're feeling low, you're feeling like you can't catch a break. And wouldn't you know it, you do, because you're attracting more of that. You're attracting a red light on the way to work. You're attracting a flat tire. You're attracting all these things. And you're like, oh my gosh, I have to shift my energy. So just know that it's kind of empowering, right? When you know, like, okay, things aren't going my way. I'm clearly attracting this for whatever reason, unconsciously. I have the power now to shift it back. I need to change the way I think. I need to change what I'm speaking. I need to change the emotions that I'm feeling. And I need to move about the world in a different way because I'm ready to take my power back and attract better things to me. Again, this is going to cause us to expand. I talked about finding those expanders, but same thing in which we expand. The energy in which we show up changes how we feel. It changes how we act, which changes our results, which changes our physical world. So example, if you're chatting with people on the internet, on, in DMs or whatever, and you're like, oh God, I hope they don't say no, right? That's a different energy than, man, I'm pumped. I know what I have to offer is incredible and I'm excited to share it with them. It's a different energy of like, I know that I'm a great coach, and I know that the things I teach and the way I show up is awesome. And I know that when people work with me, their life improves for the better. I fully believe that. Whether you work with me as a coach or customer, if you can get into my energy, your life will be improved. I know that. And I'm not sitting here going, oh gosh, what if they say no? I hope it's not too expensive for them. Do you see the difference in the energy? So we show up differently, we act differently, and people can feel that. And I know it seems silly, but I swear people can feel that when you're talking with them, whether you have an energy of excitement and confidence of, if you sign up with me, great. If it's now, great. If it's in 2 months from now, if it's never, no worries, because I know I'm constantly attracting the right people to me at all times. Or that desperate energy of, ooh, I don't know. So always just know the energy in which you do anything determines the outcome of it. So that's setting the intention when we're down to work. I'm excited to share what I have to offer with people who are excited to work with me. Setting the expectation and emotion, all of that matters. And I always say, like, if you're in a crappy mood, things aren't going well, and you're like, oh, I got to get through this business activity tracker, let me do it. I'd rather you just not work that day. Your time would be better off spent, whether it's getting in a workout, changing your emotional state, getting your vibration higher before you sit down to work. Because if you sit down to work and you're kind of in that low vibe state, it's kind of pointless, right? I never sit down, even with Jessica and I, when we're like in a funky state, it's like, okay, let's take a minute, let's get ourselves where we need to be, center ourselves, and then we sit down to work. Because when we try to just grind it out, it's terrible, it's awful, it becomes much harder than it needs to be. Truly, the energy in which we do anything really does create the outcome of it. So that's what I encourage you. Decide how this business gets to work for you and focus on shifting your energy always. When you see yourself being funky, it's okay. Recognize it and be like, how can I shift it to a better place so that I can start attracting what I want? All right. Our minds are powerful. So again, just talking about kind of the same thing. Our job is just to notice the unhelpful thoughts that come up and choose to shift into better feeling thoughts that support us. Now, this isn't just think positive to think positive, right? We've all heard like, oh, just be positive, just be positive. And that can be annoying. And I'll be the first to tell you, sometimes it can be annoyingly positive, but it's not just choosing to be positive just for the sake of it. It's choosing to create intentionally and with purpose. I just told you, no matter what's happening, we're always attracting stuff to us, but whether we are aware of it or not is up to us. But if we know, hey, you know what, how I'm feeling, what my energy is, how I'm showing up, the thoughts that I'm thinking, I'm attracting it to me, that allows you to take your power back, okay? But I want you to know it takes practice. I'm not here to say that I constantly have good thoughts. No, I don't. We are human. Every day we all experience negative thoughts, doubts, limiting beliefs, frustration. That's normal. That's part of the human experience. But it's our job to just recognize them. When I have a negative thought come up, I'm like, okay, let me sit with it. I'm not going to judge myself for it because, hey, I'm a human and we all have low vibe days and hormones are wacky. But I can sit there and be like, okay, what is this? What's happening really? Like, what's at the root of this? Recognize it and say, is there a thought that feels better? What is the root of this and how can I work through it, right? Just shoving it down and being like, I have to choose positive isn't going to help us, but like, okay, what's the deeper issue? How can I look at it a different way? Is there a way to look at this in a different way? And sometimes I can't, and I'll be honest, sometimes I'm like, I don't know, I'm just discouraged. The highs in this business are very high, and I'm here to tell you the lows are freaking low, right? Beachbody will make you cry, and I'm not even a crier, but it happens. But it's okay to feel those feelings, and when I can't shift into a better feeling thought, that's when I send a prayer up to God, and I say, God, I'm willing to see this differently. Help me to see this differently. I ask for help. Okay. And I say, help me shift my energy. Help me see this differently. How would you have me move through this? And when I'm open to that, wouldn't you know it, a thought pops up or like, ooh, here's the deeper issue. It's really not this, it's this. Okay. So again, what I want you to know is that we have so much power. We really do. I always say I'm co-creating with God. Like, I do believe God gives us free will, but I do believe he wants us to step into our power, and our future is being written every moment. And I have the chewed up gum analogy. And it's like this. So the things that we're seeing show up today, This is like old chewed up gum. Like, you know, when you have a piece of gum and you chew it, I'm a very avid gum chewer. So this is why this analogy works for me. But you know, when you like chew it and then it's like, there's literally no flavor. You're just chewing to chew, but the flavor's all been kind of drawn out. That's our present reality. So what you're seeing today is past thoughts, feelings, emotions, actions that we've taken. This is like old news. The problem is we see our current reality and maybe we're not where we want to be yet. And it's easy to be like, see, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just never going to work for me. You know, I can't be successful. But the thing is, what we're seeing is old, but we're constantly attracting from the here and now. So if you're just focusing on what you see right here of it not working, you're just going to continually attract more of the it not working. Versus, okay, what I like to tell myself when I'm in a funky place said, that was then, and this is now. If I'm in a place where I'm like, ooh, I don't know how I attracted this to me. Maybe it's a weird customer. Maybe it's multiple coach cancellations because those happen and those suck. I'm like, shit, what did I do? Okay, that was then, this is now. From this point forward, I'm excited to attract people to me and on my team that are go-getters, that are driven, that are like so my vibe, that are like truly friends that I'm excited to do business with. Or I'm so excited to bring in customers that are excited to go all in, get results, and be a Beachbody lifer with me. And I focus on what I want. So remember at the beginning when I said, are you focusing on what you do want? Or are you focusing on the here and now and any frustrations that you have? Because what you focus on right now, you're just going to call more of in. So really be focusing. If what you're seeing now you love, like Angela crushed it this month, keep focusing on what you have and just being like, yes, crushing it. Yes. Maybe if you didn't hit your goals from last month, say that was then, this is now, I'm focusing on what I do want. Okay. All right. I promise I'm almost wrapping up. You know I love to chat. Okay, the last and final step is what we call pass the test. And this is what I heard on a podcast this week. And it's so interesting because I talk about this with my health and fitness customers. You know, when they join me, I'm going to use the fitness analogy because we're coaches. A lot of times when I have women join me, they're so excited to start. They get their containers, they get their Shakeology, they know what program they're doing, they're excited, they start day one, crushing it, loving it. Tuesday comes around, still doing good. Wednesday, had a little hiccup. Thursday, something happens. Wouldn't you know it, Wednesday or Thursday, a hiccup happens. A kid gets sick, they oversleep, something happens. And I've always talked about this as calling it the pushback. That when you decide I'm going all in, here we go, you're going to come up with resistance. It's called pushback. In this podcast that I was listening to, they called it passing the test. And that's normal. And I tell my customers all the time, that's normal. Expect to have resistance. Once you're aware of it and be like, that's the pushback. She was talking about it. I see it. You can maneuver through it. But it's the same thing with success in this business. When you start to intentionally choose, okay, I know what I want. I got clear on my limiting beliefs. I'm declaring how this gets to work for me. I'm shifting my energy. Here we go. What happens is that usually what we want is greater than where our self-worth currently is. I just told you, I want to be a 15 superstar diamond. I want to be a millionaire earner, but something in me doesn't feel like I'm worthy of it yet. Otherwise, I would already be there, right? So the universe will start to test us and say, are you sure you're not willing to just settle for what you've always settled for in the past? I think about my health and fitness people. Are you sure when they have, 20 plus pounds weight to lose and life gets crazy and their routine gets, messed up, they hit resistance, and it's just a test to be like, are you sure you really want to go after trying to lose weight? Like, aren't you just comfortable at your weight right now? Do you have to want more, right? It's a little test. And then are you sure and then the other test is, are you sure that you really think you're worthy of that? And that's where we have to go back to our limiting beliefs and what is it in us that believes we're not worthy of it? What is it? And get really clear with yourself and look at it. Is that ultimately true? Okay. And this is the practice. Just know that anytime you decide I'm going all in, I'm hitting this goal, it's happening, you will come up against resistance. You can call it passing the test. You can call it pushback. It's normal. But when you see that and you acknowledge it, once you know it's coming, I just know that it's happening. When it happens, it's like, I see what's happening here. But yes, universe, I'm here for it. I know I'm worthy of it. And no, I'm not willing to settle for less than what I know I truly deserve. Okay. But a lot of times this is where we get stuck and we fall back into our old patterns. And we're like, you know what? It's just not the season for me. I think I'm going to take a step back. Or, with my clients, you know what? This month's just not really good anyways. I'm going to go ahead and join your next challenge group where I can go all in. Right. And it's again, the universe is like, okay, You're not ready? No worries. I'm not going to serve it up because you're not ready. Right? Versus if you're like, hell no, I am ready. I'm going to meet the resistance head on. I do want what I say I want. And I'm working on my worthiness every day because I know I deserve the best, 100%. So our job truly is to do the work. And it is a daily work on our mindset to align our self-worth with what we really want so that eventually it shows up. That was me every freaking day. I told you, driving my minivan to work, telling myself, I am an elite Beachbody coach. I am a 6-figure earner. I have freedom of time and financial freedom. I was saying all these things before it showed up, but I was aligning myself with that vibration. I was saying it over and over and feeling it and aligning myself, and then it showed up. But it was a constant daily practice. And even on those low days where I had to tell myself, okay, let's shift out of this, focus on what you do want. Okay. All right. That's a lot. Let me recap. Get clear on what you really want. We got to unlock, unblock, and reprogram any limiting beliefs. We have to declare how this business gets to work for us because, again, we get to co-create. We are in charge. Take your power back and shift. And then we got to pass those tests. And the last thing I want to leave you with is this is one of the things that I love to say. It just feels so like juicy and good. If it aligns with you, great. If not, find something that you're like, ooh, I feel just so good. Whenever I'm like feeling low, let's be honest, I pretty much say this to myself every day, but something that feels really good for me to say is life is on my side. This business is on my side. Money is on my side. God is on my side. I am super successful and wildly happy. I deserve the best. I receive the best. I allow the best. It's all working out for me. I've got this. I say it and I get chill bumps because it's like, ooh, yes. Like I feel that it's in me and like that helps me to raise my vibe. Now you write one for yourself. You feel free to take mine, but write one for yourself that just feels freaking good. That when you say it, you're like, hell yes, I can get behind that energy. Cool. Okay. Whew. I talked really, really fast. What questions do we have for me? Did that resonate with you? Let me know. Yes, where your focus goes, your energy flows. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So I know that this is kind of like totally different topic than we normally do, but mindset is such a huge, huge part of this business. And I truly believe it is a daily practice. And I never feel like I fully arrive. Like I definitely think it gets easier, but as you reach different levels, weird things start popping up at different levels. So it's just a constant daily practice that I want to encourage you to do. And Allison, I am in the test right now and could have been more perfect. Yes. But I think once you know that the test is here, it feels better. It's like, I can see it for what it is versus, I'll be honest, I used to tell myself, I'm somebody that likes things to come easy to me, like very quickly. And I used to tell myself if I hit resistance or it didn't come to me very easy, in my mind, I would justify of like, well, maybe it's not meant to be. Because if it was meant to be, it would be smooth sailing. It would come easier. Success would be faster. And I used to justify it in my head. But truly, now that I recognize, the test is just part of it, I'm going to meet that resistance and keep pushing through. That's when you break to that next level. Cool. Awesome. Okay. Any other questions? I talked really fast. Oh, Jason Robb. Is it you, Jason, or is it you, Jackie? I was like, is Jason on the call?
We have a guest staying at our house, so he's living in my office, so I get to crash Jason's office.
Oh,
it's
nice.
an agreement
Nice.
we have. Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, good. Well, I hope that brought you encouragement, and I hope that you will really, truly take the time to go through those steps. Again, it's one of those things that's easy to do, but it's easy to just be like, I'm going to brush through it or just kind of half-ass it. But I'm telling you, if you really want to break through, that's what it's going to take, right? So cool. Cool. Any other announcements, Jessica, or anything that we need to go over? I know you did them at the beginning. Is that it?
In case you missed it at the beginning, just make sure that you have your CEO code and that you're using them the 3rd through the 5th for Let's Get Up Challenge Packs. You can use them for coaches or customers starting tomorrow. Tomorrow's the official customer launch. So if you've been waiting for that or you have people waiting for that, take advantage. Let us know if you have questions and make it the goal to hit Success Club first week of the month using those codes so you take that stress off of you. But crushed it. So good. And I think that's the only announcements that we have currently.
All right. Well, y'all have a fabulous night and an even better week. Bye, guys.